Hey, before getting into the video, next week will be Halloween. Basically, it's not the 31st, whatever. So I want you guys to leave in the comments what I should talk about. Whether it be a spooky, scary webtoon, the horror genre in general, or maybe the scariest thing in a non-horror webtoon, whatever we want to talk about. Okay, on to the video. A little bit ago, I was in a talk with my good friend Ronald, fellow Webtoon ambassador and running the channel Anime Star Productions, where he does Webtoon dubs. Say hi, Ron.
Hello, everybody!
We were talking about how while there are a variety of series, seemingly the most popular series are romance ones. Even when they aren't romance series, they have some semblance of romance in them. Shipping exists no matter where you are. The main point of topic was the surplus of romance, with the lacking of action. And the question was why? Why is romance so much more popular than action, or even fantasy, my favorite genre? And of all the genres out there, which include drama, fantasy, comedy, action, slice of life, romance, superhero, sci-fi, thriller, supernatural, mystery, sports, historical, heartwarming, horror, and informative? There are a ton of genres, but why does romance appear so much more? Why is love, well, so loved? I had a couple thoughts during the conversation, but if you've seen me talk with and without a script, you'll know that I sound a little uncertain when I talk without a script. So I wanted to take a crack at it again, specifically looking at the difference between romance and action, why one succeeds on the platform more than the other. A couple things we need to get to know. First, just because I say romance succeeds more than action doesn't mean I'm saying action doesn't succeed. A lot of my favorite series have action in them. And I'm not saying that actions aren't great, they are. The point of this video is to see why romance has much more success than action. And let's get something right off the bat. Romance has always been more enticing to more people compared to action. According to some light Googling, around 60% of the songs are songs about love. How often has love been the focus of TV shows, movies, anime, comics, videos? Love is a complex theme that is talked about often. What doesn't help was that Webtoon's early days, they really loved pushing the romance stuff the hardest. And because of that, it caused romance to become more popular. And because it was more popular, they started pushing it even harder. It's a cycle. Why is it more popular is the question for today. Relatability, answers, and longing. These, after 20 minutes of doing nothing but thinking about this, and kind of thinking about a D&D campaign I'm running, these are the three main components to why I think romance is so much more popular than the other genres. After perusing my nearly 200 Webtoon series subscription box, and being creeped out by the weird eye thing they're doing for Halloween, I wanted to take a look at 3 Webtoon series that I think exemplify each of these qualities. These series being Romance 101, Nice to Meet You, and Lore Olympus. Ugh, look at these faces, man. Anyways, I wanted to take a look at the first of our 3 components. Relatability, with a series I haven't gotten a chance to talk about, Romance 101. This series follows Barium, an overplanner, overworker, overachiever, and she just works really hard in basically everything. School or just life in general. She pushes herself very hard in every aspect of life, perfectly planning every little detail of it. But she can't quite seem to plan out her dating life. She can't quite seem to figure it out. As she spent her whole life studying, waiting until university to start dating, but she realizes that she has no clue what she's doing. Her love life was lacking. She wanted to start any type of relationship, especially with Ja-yeon. However, she's incredibly confused about everything. Not only has she never been in a relationship, she's never been in love. Sure, she's wanted to be in a relationship, but never really known how to start. Never really known where to begin. Relationships are tricky, and not everyone understands them. It's not easy to simply get into a relationship. It's not easy to maintain a friendship with someone you're into. It's not easy to fall in love with someone while attending school. Relationships, both the step towards and the actual relationship, have a lot of complexities to them. Complexities that many of us, or at least people in relationships, have gone through. Look, people want that connection. And that connection and relatability plays into the dominance of romance over action. More people want to be in love than fight each other till they're bloody and broken. More people can connect emotionally, mentally, and physically to romance leads than action leads. Action is fun thrills that I love. But thrills are just that. They're fun for a little bit, but if the action is the only thing that's going on, then it's a wasted cause. An action always needs a reason. They always need a reason to fight. But that also brings us to another component, answers, and to one of my favorite Webtoon series, Nice to Meet You. Nice to Meet You is a charming Webtoon series that follows Mew, an artistic, lovable goofball. Mew is a ray of sunshine in practically everyone's life due to her seemingly unending optimism, her passion, and her creativity. She's always designing new clothes and costumes. And someone recently caught her eye. Someone who became her muse, her inspiration. Days. Someone who got her out of her art block. And due to how good Days looks, there has been some attraction between the two. What's more, we also get Days' best friend Win, who's another chaotic element in this series. Now, while the romance between Days and Mew does start to bloom, it's not the only love that does. As Win also starts to catch feelings for Mew, which we get a lot of in Season 2. Look, I won't lie, because I have no reason to lie, I'm not in a relationship. And that could be the reason I'm so interested in romance stuff. But something else is that these series provide us with answers. Granted, I'm aware that basing my idea of romance off of romance media is problematic, but these series often provide us with a viewpoint into something that we aren't a part of. They provide us with answers that we've never really had to question. The reason I brought up Nice to Meet You is because it provides more than just answers into relationships, but the ordeal that is crushes? That sounds a little juvenile at my age. Romantic interests, whatever. Just on how people should behave while in love. In many other series, we see a long, complicated, twisted love triangle with two people competing for the other person's affection, and that has its time and place. However, Nice to Meet You takes a really mature way of going about it, by just being honest with each other. While it's a struggle, Win does confess that he has feelings to Days, wanting his best friend to know that he has feelings for Mew. We see the maturity that you should display in any of these romantic situations. We don't really get any type of answers, any type of guidance or rules in action. Sure, I guess it teaches us to be noble sometimes, but what are we really learning from it? And that also brings us to our last component, longing. And our last webtoon for today, Lore Olympus. Lore Olympus is a retelling of the Greek myth of Hades and Persephone. Now, while the premise might not be super relatable, a lot of the aspects are. Lore Olympus deals with very human issues, deals with sexual trauma and mental illness, but it's mainly focused on the relationship between Hades and Persephone, them developing a bond that grows into romantic feelings. We see this absolutely adorable relationship grow. We see two different people, but two very similar people. Two people who are both damaged seek comfort in their friendship, growing and becoming better. Seeing the romance between two people come alive. Which brings us to our last component, longing. Like I said, I'm not in a relationship, but I would like to be in one someday. And it's nice to see people in love. I think that's why we also read romance stuff. Because we would like to be in their situation. But if I'm being honest, these components might not even be the reason we love these series. I think it's simply because people want to be loved no matter who you are. People want a connection. Even if you're not interested in a romantic one, there are those friendships, those family, those community. We all want a type of love. These series, all the romance series, all romance movies, TV shows, songs, all inspire something in us. Oh, many of us can connect with people falling in love, with people going through the motions of a relationship, growing apart, being alone, struggling with your love life. The reason that the romance genre is so dominant over the other genres is because of relatability, sure, answers and longing or whatever I said, and probably 20 other things that I haven't even thought of, but I think it all connects back to one thing. I think it's connection. People are social creatures, and romance and love are basically the most extreme forms of connections. I've loved romance series when I was in a relationship. I've loved romance series when I wasn't. I've loved the romance series when I had my own romantic interest. I loved the romance series when I thought love was dead and I would die alone. Taste is a matter of opinion. What series you do or don't like, that's up to you. If you're only into action, that's fine, great. If you prefer fantasy or sci-fi or horror or historical or informative, good job. That's your taste. And you should be proud of what you like and don't. But in my opinion, the reason that romance is so popular is because people want to feel love. The love you get in a romantic relationship, in a platonic relationship, in a family relationship. People want to be in love. But that's all for today. So, like always, thank you for watching, and I hope I'll see you next week. Take care.